Right, summer 2015 was a year or a season where the grade boundaries were as high as they'd ever been for this particular tier and particular paper. You needed 121 in order to get a grade C, and I think it's quite a difficult pair of papers as well. So let's see how you get on. In a recent election, the winning candidate had 26,043 votes. Write down this number of votes in figures. So again, the way that I tend to do this is to work from the units. So it's 3, 43, no hundreds, and 6,000, 26,000, 26,043. The candidate who came second received this one, so 5, 15, and 20,015. And make sure that you concentrate and use words throughout. By how many votes did the winning candidate beat the second place candidate? So we want to find the difference between the two. Can do it by counting on, or you can do it by subtraction. So you can't take 5 from 3, so you need to borrow from the next column. You can take 5 from 13, it's 8. 1 from 3 you can do, it's 2, 0, 6. 2 take away 2 zeros, 6,028 is the difference there. Using only the numbers in the following list, write down 2 numbers that add up to 15. So you're looking for a pair of numbers that the units digits are going to add up to a 5. So there, for example, add up to 75, sorry, not 15. 23 and 12 will end in a 5, but won't add up to 75. 8 and 7 give you 15, so 38 and 47, but 3 and 4 is going to be 7, so that's going to be 85, so it's not that one. So I would say it's going to be 38 and 37. So just to check, 8 and 7 are 15, carry 1, 6, 7. So it's 38 and 37. 2 numbers which differ by 17. The easiest way I find to do that is to add 17 to each of the numbers and see if it generates one of the other numbers on the list. So 17 and 38 is going to be bigger than any number on the list. Similarly, 17 and 49 is going to be too big. 23 and 17 is going to be 40, which is on the list. So it's 23 and 40 will have a difference of 17. Square numbers are the numbers you get when you multiply a number by itself. So 1 times 1 is 1 is a square number, 4 is a square number, 9, 4 4 is a 16, 5 5 is 25, 6 6 is 36, 7 7 is 49. 49 is a square number. Right, 9758 correct to the nearest thousand. So the thousand digit is the 9, which means that you're either going to be writing 9,000 or 10,000. And because it's 758, it's closer to 10,000 than it is 9,000. Write on all the factors of 21. So write on all the numbers that divide into 21 exactly, or all the tables that have 21 in them. So 21 and 1 are the pair you always start with, and then tracking through your tables, hopefully you will pick up 3 7s and 7 3s at 21. Each of the digits 7, 9, 2 and 6 is used once to make a 4-digit number. What is the smallest number that can be made? So you would write it with the smallest digit in the largest place value column. So you would basically write those in reverse, in ascending order. So 2 6, 7, 9 would be the smallest number. The largest number, you'd write them in a different order. But because they want the largest odd number, you would have to switch the that value with the nearest odd number. So you would switch those two around to get 9, 2, 6, 7. So 9, 2, 6, 7 is the largest odd number. Okay, marks for that question. Pretty much 1 for each answer. For this one, there's 2 marks if you get them all right, only 1 mark if you make a mistake or you've missed one out, and 1 mark for each of those. So immediately we're grading. If you get all of those right, you're grading. Right, on the next term in each of the following sequences. Okay, so it's going down, so it's either going to be a dividing rule or a subtracting rule. And I can see there that this one is going down by 11. This one's going down by 11. This one's going down by 11. So that is going to have the value of 1. And with this one, again it's going down, but it's not a subtracting rule. This time it's a dividing rule. I can see that 16 divided by 4 is 4, 4 divided by 4 is 1. So I'm guessing 64 divided by 4 is 16. So this is going to be 1 divided by 4, which is a quarter, or 0.25. Either of those answers would be right. What is the value of the 6? So the 6 is in the hundreds column, but it's important that because it's got a value of 6, the digit is 6, its value is 600. 33 over 50, to turn into a decimal, it's usually easier to turn it into a fraction out of 100. Hopefully you can see, well, that's doubling it. To turn the bottom into 100, I've got to times by 2, so I've got to times the top by 2. 66 out of 100 as a decimal is 0.66. 67% is 0.67. You write it as if you're writing pence in pounds. So if you're writing 67 pence in pounds, it would be 0.67. Write these then in ascending order, so that's smallest to largest. So I've got 0.66, which is 33 over 50, then 0.67, which is 67%, then 0.68. So in all your working, find an estimate, so you round these off to the nearest whole numbers, which would be 5 times 10 is 50. So marks for that page or that question, you'd have 1 for each of those, 1 for that, 1 for your 2 conversions, 1 for the correct order, and then for 2D, 1 mark for your rounding, and 1 mark for your answer. Question 3. Use the formula for finding any term in the sequence. Find the value when the term number is 7. So you put the information into that exactly in the order that it's given you there. So the value, we don't know, is 6 times the term number, take away 5. We can work out what 6 times 7 is. 7 6s, 6 7s are 42, take away 5 is 37. Find the term number when the value is 67. So again, you can't move things around there, so we know the value is 67 equals 6 times, and I'll call the term number t, take away 5. So what we got here is a simple equation. In order to get at the 6 times t, I need to get rid of the take 5. To do that, I've got to do the opposite of taking 5, which is adding 5. Now I have to add 5 to both sides, so I get 67 plus 5 is 6 times t. 67 and 5 is 72. To get the t on its own, I've got to get rid of a times 6. The opposite of times in 6 is dividing by 6. And I have to do that to both sides. 72 divided by 6 is 12. Okay, so for that one, 1 mark for substituting into the rule, 1 mark for the right answer, and the same with this one, 1 mark for substituting into the rule, 1 mark for the right answer. Okay, we get to there, we're into grade F. A box contains the following 10 cards. 1 card is chosen at random from the box. On the probability scale below, mark the points A, B and C where. A is the probability that the chosen card has the number 6 on it. So the number 6 occurs once, twice, 3, 4, 5 times. So I could write that as a probability of 5 over 10. 5 over 10, hopefully you recognise as a half. So A is going to be there. And don't write the letter A over the scale. Point an arrow to where you want that to be. B is the probability that the chosen card has a number less than 8 on it. Now if it's less than 8, that means it doesn't include 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 out of 10. So 8 out of 10 is going to be roughly there. The probability the chosen card has a number more than 5 on it, well, you can see there that all of them, 10 out of 10 of them, have a number more than 5. So that's going to be there. Choose the best word from those given below to describe the chance that the chosen card has a 7 on it. So a 7, 1, 2, 3 out of 10. So 3 out of 10 is going to be down there. Unlikely is the most fitting of those words. So marks for that, 1 for each correct. Question 5, bit of algebra. 4a plus 2a is 6a, take away 1a is 5a. Use the formula w equals 7r take 3t. Now you need to remember that in algebra a number and a letter are connected by a times that we don't write in, but as soon as we replace the letter with a number we have to. So w would be 7 times 5, not 75. Take away 3 times 9. Then you do your multiplications, then you do your subtraction. So W is 8. So with this question, what you're doing is you're looking to find out what you've done to the first number to make the second number, and the rule has to be the same for each. So I'm adding 4 to get that, but if I add 4 to that, it doesn't give me 9. So I'm then going to try times in by 3. 2 3s are 6, 3 3s are 9, 4 3s are 12. So to get y, I'm going to do x times 3. Bit of algebra, bit of equations. 5 times x is 20. So to get the x on its own, I've got to do the opposite of timesing by 5, which is dividing by 5. 20 divided by 5 is 4. To get the y on its own, I've got to undo and add 8. The opposite of adding 8 is subtracting 8. And with this one, it's probably easier to think of it as a complete puzzle rather than as an equation. What have I got to take off 9 to make 7. Answer 2. 9 take away 2 is 7. So for that question, 1 mark. 1 mark for substituting in. 1 mark for your answer. For 5C, one mark would be if you just written down times 3, but if you've written it as a rule, you get the 2 marks. 4 is 1, 12 is 1, 2 is 1. Question 6. An 8 by 3 rectangle is placed on top of 2 6 by 3 rectangles to make the shape shown in the diagram. Calculate the perimeter of this shape. Okay, so the first thing to do is make sure that you are showing the examiner how you've worked out any missing sides. So that one's okay, that one's okay. So this distance here I need to work out, and this distance here. So if I know that that is 3, and I know that that is 3, and I know the whole thing is 8, that means that that must be 2. So this distance is 5. If I know that that is 6 and that is 3, then this distance must be 3, and this distance here is 5, 3 and 2, and this distance here is 3. So I've now got all the sides that I need to find the perimeter. So now I'm going to write them all down to show the examiner. So if I'm starting there, I'm going 3 plus 6 plus 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 6 plus 5 plus 3, and then I'm back to the start. So 9, 14, 20, 31, 34, and the units is not asking for them, but the units of perimeter is distance, is how far you've walked around the outside of the shape, so it's length, it's centimeters. For the area of the shape, then I know that this one is 3 times 3, which is 9. This one here is 8 times 3, which is 24, and this one here again is 3 times 3, which is 9. So the area is going to be 9 plus 24 plus 9, which is 42. And for this question, to get the 3 marks, you have to write the correct units down as well for area, which is centimeters squared. So it's really important. If you've just written down 42 there, you've done all the hard work, but you wouldn't get full marks. So make sure that you can do that. So you need to make sure you divide that shape up into chunks that you know. That's the way that I chose to do it. There are different ways you could have divided that up. So for that question, question 6A, so making sure that you're showing the missing sides, you get 1 mark. Then showing that you're adding up all your sides, you get your method mark, and for correctly adding up, you get your answer mark. And then for this one, you get 1 mark for showing your areas, 1 mark for the answer of 42, and 1 mark for the correct units. Okay, we'll need that for question 8. But first of all, question 7. On the squared paper below, plot the points. So you need to remember that the first number in the bracket is always the x direction, which is across, and then the second digit is the y direction, which is your up and down. So A is 5, 2, across 5, up 2. Put a cross where the point is and write A next to it. B is -1, so you're going to cross that way 1, and -5 means you're going down 5 to there. That's your B. and C is -4 and then up 3, which takes you to there. 1 mark for each of those. And then for the next question, because it's a scale drawing, then it needs to be, this particular one needs to be full size, otherwise it won't work. So I just zoom out. And get my equipment together. Okay, a surveyor has placed a pole at a point Q and another at R, and the poles are 100 meters apart. He needs to position another pole at a point P such that PQR is 44 degrees and P is a distance of 80 meters from Q. Using a scale of 1 centimeter to represent 10 meters, draw an accurate drawing of the position of the pole. Okay, so PQR, P is up there somewhere because I don't have it, and the angle is at the letter that's in the middle, so it's angle Q, so that there needs to be 44 degrees, going from from P up there somewhere to Q there and over to R there. So to draw that, you need to get your angle measurer. The center of your angle measurer is going to be on the edge of Q, and you want the 0 to be lining up with R because it's the angle from P to Q to R that is 44 degrees. So check with your angle measurer now which direction which scale you're reading. So to go from 0 to 44, it's the inside scale, otherwise you're counting back 350, 340. So 40 is there, so 44, put a little point and draw that line on. So it's somewhere on that line. Don't know where yet. We have to use the second bit of information to work out where. So it's a distance of 80 meters from Q. So 80 meters is going to be, using a scale of 1 centimeter to represent 10 meters, is going to be 8 centimeters. So I know that it's 8 centimeters from R. Now the most accurate way of working that out is using a compass. Put your compass point on 0 on your ruler and open your compass out to 8 centimeters. So that means now when we put the compass point on R, everywhere on this circle is going to be 8 centimeters from Q. So where the two curve and the line cross, that will be 8 centimeters. So if we just clarify that now, bang on 8 centimeters. So P is there. So PQR 44 degrees, and that's 80 meters. How far is the pole from R? Give your answer in meters. Sorry, I've done this wrong. It's a distance of 80 meters from Q. So scratch that. 80 meters from Q means that it's 8 centimeters along that line, which you could have measured with your ruler. So the pole is there. This is 80 meters. So this distance is 6.8 centimeters. which you're going to times by 10, which is 68 meters. Sorry, I completely misread that question then. So if the question had said P is a distance of 80 meters from R, then that's what you would have done. But in this instance, it was from Q, so you just had to measure along there 8 centimeters. Okay. So that's question 8, done that. So we've got our grade D now, if we got everything right. Water is poured into an empty rectangular tank of length 15 centimeters, width 10 centimeters, and height 12 centimeters until the tank is full. Find the volume. So the volume in litres, first of all, let's work with what we're given. So the volume is the length times the width times the height. So the volume is going to be 15 times 10 times 12. So 15 times 10 is 150 times 12. So that this is a non-calculator paper. So in order to work that out, I've got to use a non-calculator method. This is my preferred method. Okay, so you've written 150 and the 12, and then we plonk some diagonals on our boxes, and then we fill in by multiplying. So 0 times 1 is 0, 0 times 2 is 0, 1 times 5 is 5, which we would write at 0, 5, 5 times 2 is 10, 1 times 1 is 0, 1, 1 times 2 is 0, 2. Then you add up your diagonals, and then you read off your answer. So it's going to be 1800 centimeters cubed. Now you need to know that to turn litres into centimeter cubed, 1000 centimeter cubed is 1 litre. So to turn that into litres, you've got to divide by 1000, and that is 1.8. So it's 1.8 litres. So there's quite a bit of maths to do there for those 3 marks. I'll zoom back in now. The previous question. So first of all, you've got to do a non-calculated multiplication of those 3 numbers. That will give you the answer in centimeters cubed, and then you have to divide that by 1000 in order to turn it into litres. So marks for that question are 1 mark for the method of multiplying the 3 values together, 1 mark for getting 1800, and then 1 mark for turning that into litres by dividing by 1000. Right, for the next question, you will be allowed to use tracing paper. So for rotational symmetry, tracing paper makes life easier. So draw 2 more shapes so that the completed pattern has rotational symmetry of order 4. So what that is saying is that you can turn the pattern 4 times and it remains identical. So the common mistake here is to think that it's reflectional symmetry. So ask the examiner for the invigilators for some tracing paper, if you haven't been given any, and trace the shape. So we're going to turn this now around the origin, and where it stops in the next quarter is where you need to fill in your shape. So take a look where it is and then trace it over. So that's turning it there. So next time we turn it now, it should completely cover the one that's already there, which it does, and then one more turn will take it to there. So that's what you need to cover. That's where you need to draw this. So there, and then one more turn would take you back to the start. So that's what it's looking for there. Part B, draw all the lines of symmetry. So now we're talking about reflective symmetry. Now I'm using a red pen. So mirror lines on this, if you had one from the pointy bit going through the opposite section, everywhere where you've got a pointy bit is going to be a reflective line of symmetry. So we're missing one more, which is that one. No, two more. There's another one there. Every one of those is a line of symmetry. So one mark here for that one, one mark for that one, and then two marks if you've got them all, one mark if you've got at least three correct and no wrong ones. Okay, so that's question 10. Question 11. Okay, so this is a communication question. So we know there are 8 marks there. 2 of those are for how we lay out our work. Tim owns a clothes shop. He buys 60 shirts at £8 each. The selling price of each shirt is worked out so that he makes a profit of 50% on each shirt. He sells 15 shirts at this price. After a few months, Tim reduces the selling price of each shirt by £5. He then sells the remaining shirts at this reduced selling price. Has Tim made a profit or loss? Okay, so the first thing I can work out is how much the shirts cost him in total. So shirts cost Tim 60 lots of 8. 6 8s are 48. Add a 0. So in order to make a profit, he needs to be selling them for more than £480. The selling price of each shirt is worked out so that he makes a profit of £50, 50% on each shirt. So he sells 15 shirts at this price. So if they cost him £8, his profit on a shirt will be 50% of £8, which is £4, half of it. So he's selling each shirt for £8 plus £4. So much it cost him, 50% profit, £12 each. And he's going to sell 15 shirts at £12 each. So selling 15 shirts makes, so again let's do a quick multiplication. If you've got your own method for this, that's fine. 15 times 12, 0, 5, 10, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 8, 1. So that's £180 for the 15 shirts that he sells at that cost. So the remaining shirts Well, if he bought 60 and he sold 15, so he's got 45 shirts left, and he sells these. He reduces the selling price by £5. So rather than selling them for 12, he's going to be selling them for 7. So £7 each. So he's got 45 lots of 7. So these make 7 5s are 35, 7 4s are 28, 31, 315 pound. So the first 15 he sold generated 180 pound. The remaining shirts generated that much. So Tim sells all shirts for 180 plus 315, 495 pounds. So he sold them for 495 pounds. They cost him 480, so he has made a £15 profit. Doesn't seem to bother, does it? But there we are. So that's how you need to lay it out, one way or another. How you do the calculations is up to you. So 1 mark for the 480. There's 1 mark for the £12. There's 1 mark for the 180. There's 1 mark for the £7. 1 2 3 4. No, 1 2 3 4. There's 1 mark for the £315. There's 1 mark for the 495 or the profit. And 1 mark for your strategy of doing that somehow. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. No. 1 2 3 4 5 6 marks for the maths, and then 2 communication marks for actually putting the words around the process that you are doing. Okay, so if we got everything right so far, we're into the grade C's. So let's just finish off with this question, and then I'll start a fresh clip. So Karen has 12 cards, 4 are yellow, 4 are red, 4 are blue. The 4 yellow cards are numbered 1, 2, 3 and 4. Similarly, the 4 red cards and the 4 blue cards are numbered 1, 2, 3 and 4. The 12 cards are all put in a bag, and 1 card is drawn out of the bag at random. Right, on all the possible outcomes, 1 has been done for you. So, to try and keep this in an ordered manner, it could be yellow 1, it could be yellow and a 2, it could be yellow and a 3, it could be yellow and a 4. It could be red 1, red 2, red 3, red 4. Or it could be blue 1, blue 2, blue 3, blue 4. So those are the 12 cards, yes? 1, 2, 3, 4 by 3 is 12. In a game, a player selects a card at random from the bag. The player wins a prize if the selected card is a red card with an even number on it. So how many red evens are there? There's the red 2 and there's the red 4. So there are 2 cards that could win out of 12 in total. One day, 120 people play the game once. How many would you expect to win the prize? So that's your chances of winning, and that's how many people are playing. So first of all, you find 1/12 by doing 120 divided by 12, which is 10. So you would expect 20 people to win. Okay, 2 marks for listing all of those. 1 mark for the 2, 1 mark for over 12, 1 mark for the method, 2 over 12 times 120, 1 mark for the answer. So there you go. Get that far, you're into the grade C's.